All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition. Merely Bo and the Great Z. Well, let's hear it. You left here with 60 miles.
So, I could have done it. I feel like I could have done it, but I did not. Talking to you, you got me nervous, and also I have.
It's my fault.
No, you did get me a little nervous though, and I also have a long-standing wager with the great Pete Aziz, because the first time that I ever took it on a road trip, like literally a month after getting it.
Yep.
I took it to Saugatuck, Michigan for the great Beatbox's 40th birthday extravaganza.
Okay.
We were coming back.
Uh-huh.
I was driving Pete back. We were going to stop in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
We needed a charge. We knew that all along.
Yeah.
We pulled into a supercharger with 1 mile. So he was like, dude, you're for sure going to run out of energy at some time. Like, you're going to blow
I've
this.
never heard of such a
And I was like,
play.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I forgot to charge it overnight. Shame on me.
Yep.
As we left here, I think I had 65.
60 out
60.
there. We checked it out there before we left.
And I had about 35 to the golf course and 9 from there home. So that's 44. As we know, that 60 is.
That's not real.
It's not real. It probably is about at this time with the good weather that we had.
Yeah.
The 60, and I kept it on the freeway at like 65, which is a good optimum speed. It probably was a real, and I needed 44. It probably was a real 47.
I was going to say
20%.
The ceiling I would give you is 50. The ceiling is 50.
I think 48 was probably the number, 20% degradation. It turns out that the supercharger that I had sourced is literally on the way to the golf course. It's the exact same exit. It's the turn over the freeway, and it's right there. So, like, it wasn't even – I didn't have to deviate my path.
Right?
Yeah, the one that's right there.
The turnpike,
on 82. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to – no, not on the turnpike.
Oh, you
went
480.
Yeah, 480. There's one right there in a Sheetz.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't even know.
Oh, I didn't know
I've driven by
either.
that Sheetz a million times.
Yeah, I didn't know that was there.
So, like, literally down from the heart of Twinsburg, the city square where it's 5 miles to Solon, 5 miles to your neck of the woods, Nape of the Way.
Yep.
It was right there. So once it became that it wasn't even a deviation in any way, shape, or form, I was like, I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
I went. It was a 250er. Nobody else was there. So I was getting full throat. I picked up 40 miles in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes.
That's fun when you have it all by yourself. You just
2 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So then I was like back over 70.
No, you're good. You're safe, pal.
Totally.
Yeah. I would have been interesting. It reminded me. I was thinking of you last night.
I wanted to do it for this.
It would have been the Cosmo Kramer driving the Saab.
Yeah.
Remember, he drove it past the line. No one's ever done that.
Here's the other thing I was thinking was home for me from Walden is largely downhill, which plays a huge
role for sure.
And I could have at one point gone, and what I did to make it to the 1 mile is I threw it in neutral at times.
Let it coast.
And then you just coast around downtown. So I think I would have made it, but it would have been like perilous.
Yeah, and
unnecessary.
The other thing is you don't know how it would have been, how it would have responded for the sitting and while you played. And then coming out of it, like what would all that have been? Like it just was an unnecessary risk. But I was hoping that you would have tried it because I would not have. I would have done what you did.
Well, I know, and you really. I'll tell you this.
I'm viewing.
You got into my psyche a little bit.
Well, then you're welcome because my view of things are how can I mitigate risk?
Totally.
And what's the worst that can happen? So the worst that can happen is the miscalculation happens. You're 5 miles outside of the Walden exit, about halfway to your house, and all of a sudden, done. And you're sitting alongside of the road going,
what an idiot.
What a moron.
Now
you're in the app, you're trying to talk to a human, you're getting, what was our guy's name? Carlos? Paco. We're calling Paco, saying, Paco, can you send me a car? Paco sends us a car. That's what you can't do it. Can't have it.
So I didn't. It was
smart.
I do think had it not been directly on my route, would I have maybe been more brazen? Perhaps.
We'll never know.
But it couldn't have been more convenient. And then to feel when it's telling you you're going to get 400 miles in an hour, that's a great feeling.
It's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, you're like, I'm so loaded up.
So that worked out well for you. We had pool opening last night. Opened that up. Bootsy's wants morning swims. We're not heated all the way up yet.
Tell him that this isn't lasting.
No, I'm not doing that to his joy.
got till
he has so little joy in his life.
Yeah, he's hurting for joy. He's got till Monday.
So he was all excited. So last night we had kids at all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, all right, so we're getting it opened up, covers off. You got to let it breathe a little bit. A lot of chemical in there. Let it breathe. Let it get where it needs to be. And we go, and it's time to go to the bed. And so I'm like, well, we have to. I'm going to go cover this thing, right?
Sure.
And we opened the hot tub needed to be treated as well, so the covers were off of that. So I go close the pool, thankfully, as it's heating. I get up this morning to take Buddy Garrity for a walk. Hot tub was not covered. So when you start heating a hot tub at 104 degrees overnight and it's 57, that'll be fun. That's the type of thing for the kids out there where you get a call from the electric company or the gas company, and they're like, boy, are you sure your meter's right? It's showing that you owe us $27,000 this month.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how that goes.
Yep.
So, but he'll be able to a little evening swim for him tonight. It's already up to the mid 80s. Pool's in the mid 80s.
It's going to be great.
He's going to crush it.
Yeah.
Live his best life. Couldn't wait to flop around.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should.
We had some news, a bit of news. The Browns and First Energy announced that they have reached an amicable decision to end their stadium rights agreement deal. Terms and conditions of the agreement were not disclosed. Dave Jenkins, Haslam Sports Group's COO, quote, "Our home stadium will return to its former name, Cleveland Browns Stadium."
My guess is that's a temporary moniker.
I would say.
Folks, there's too much money out there, and money that is then used for the team and for the resources and all of those things.
You got to compensate you.
So I would expect that would be short term, but it does sound cool. Cleveland Browns Stadium sounds great. I like it.
Are there any of those left? Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park, Wrigley Field. Are there any football ones left that are just Lambeau? Is Soldier Field still Soldier Field?
I think so, but it might be like with a sponsor under it, but it's just what's called in the parlance of our times still. I think Lambeau is too. Doesn't Lambeau have something?
I feel like it's some financial.
Oh, by the way, hello, Gibbe. Guess who's back?
Yeah, we're back.
You know, I had a real sweet moment. We give Bootsy hell sometimes. Last night, apparently on the way home from school, he said to my wife, "Mom, we've got to call 80. It's her birthday today."
It's a good job by him.
How did he?
I have no idea.
How would he remember? Did you remember?
What a human.
Oh. I landed and then promptly had to drive to Akron to celebrate the birthday dinner.
That's right. Yeah. So Bootsy was, like he was on it yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on it.
Well, I saw the Easter picture. I mean,
goodness gracious.
Congratulations on all your successes, son.
Yeah, it's something. A lot of wins, stacks a lot of dubs there. Hey, I got. You guys know what happened? Two things historically happened on this date.
What is it?
On this day,
13th.
Okay. On this day in 1997.
Okay.
You both ought to know what happened on this day in
April
1997.
13th, 1997.
1997 for two men who enjoy golf.
Tiger's first Masters?
Yep. On this day in 1997, Tiger Woods won the Masters by 12 shots.
100 according to the announcers in this Masters, but yes, 12.
It could have been 120. It was,
didn't matter.
It didn't matter. And on this day 7 years ago, the late, great Kobe Bryant scored 60 in his final game with the Lakers.
I watched that.
And he took like 40 shots.
I think even closer to 50. I think it was like 20-something out of 50. Like the box score from that was crazy. I mean, it was every shot was his. They won. They did win. I remember watching it, but I can't even remember if they won. I know that he scored. They were terrible, absolutely horrible, in the words of Bootsy. But that was 7 years ago. He scored 60.
They beat the Jazz by 5.
Okay, do you have his number, his shot attempts? I want to say it's like 52.
I got it right here. Kobe Bryant on that day.
Give it to me.
I think give me this. Just get 22 of 50. I believe you had that. 10 of 12 from the line.
Just get out of the way. I'm going to shoot.
50
we're either going to win or we're going to lose. But I'm just going to shoot every
50. Time. Okay. So did you watch it live, the Kobe 60?
Yes. I watched it live.
I watched it live.
By the way, just for a little context there, they attempted as a team 85 shots.
Yeah.
He attempted 50 of those 85, large percentage. So he was 22 of 50. Mm-hmm. The team was 19 for their other 35. So the rest of the team did a little bit. He was, from downtown, 6 of 21.
Oh my God, I would have guessed 20 that he took 23.
6 of 21 from downtown.
Honestly, in today's game, like if Steph goes out and shoots 50 shots in the last game, 35 of them are going to be threes.
Yes.
So it's just how much the game has changed. Kobe had a true mid-range game. So if you could throw a banana in Mr. Fusion and go back to either one of those, and I'm not comparing the two things. One is a coronation. The other is one magical last night for a player who is no longer with us. But if you go back to be in the event, in the arena with great seats or whatever that gets you at Augusta for the final round for Tiger, which one do you do?
Of those two?
Yeah.
No comparison for me. It's Masters by a billion.
Yeah, I think so.
By a billion.
It's the right answer, but let's also think about this. Golf in person is brutal.
It's
brutal. And the entire course, all of the patrons would have been around him the whole time because he was
a
up.
one-man show. Yeah.
It was a one-man show. Tom Kite finished second, 12 shots back. The whole Tom Kite.
Great glasses.
Fantastic glasses. I wonder if he still's wearing them.
Yeah.
The big boys. It's bad. It's really bad.
There's a so one of my good friends who writes for a couple golf architecture and landscaping publications. The great Guy is his actual name.
Guy Gisborne.
He says the cheaper ticket to get from all 4 days is always the last day because people are either flying home because they got to work Monday, or B, they'd rather watch the final round on TV.
So this goes. The Tiger thing in '97 is a coronation.
Yes,
is what
it's
is.
a big party.
It's known. It's Tiger. It's
historically significant.
Historically, the far more Kobe 60 is not a historically significant thing. But I think you could make a decent case that watching the final round for Tiger in '97 on television was a better experience. You could always say you were there in '97, but how much of it would you actually have seen? You're going to be fighting crowds trying to get to see a shot. If you're getting a swing,
you'd have to.
Walking.
All you'd want to be is basically on 18 when he walks up, and you get to be there. You'd sit there all day. So you see everybody, but
you'd see everybody.
Golf is very different.
And conversely, if you guys watch that game on TV, Kobe 60, I mean that was like Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Was him getting 60 in his last game?
Yeah.
I mean, it was an electric experience.
It's totally electric. I stayed up.
Then he talked to the crowd after.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah. I think the right one is Tiger because of historical significance, but in terms of the more fun, I think you'd have more fun at the basketball.
Especially if you were sitting courtside for that.
If you were near,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, little breaking news from the NFL.
Okay. Involving us?
No. Dan Snyder has reached an agreement in principle to sell the Commanders for $6 billion to a group led by Philadelphia 76ers co-owner Josh Harris. That group includes billionaire Mitchell Rales and former NBA star Magic Johnson.
That's just what he's made a living out of being the celebrity that everybody likes that owns NFL baseball basketball teams. This started with the Dodgers when he got in with the Guggenheim Group and got them. He was a part owner of the Lakers at one point before he became the general manager. And now he will be one of the guys who shakes hands and kisses babies in Washington.
Yep.
I believe I had this on the number.
$6 billion, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it would be. Let's just examine that for a second. $6 billion for that organization. That is, if not the worst, one of the handful of worst branded organizations in the NFL. Fair?
Been in the dumps for a long time.
I'm just talking about just their branding, imaging, all of it.
The Commanders? I'm hoping that new owners are like
out. Clearly. That's what you hope for. But like as it stands right now, the worst.
Yep.
They have been irrelevant for 20 years.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
At one point, it was one of the most proud organizations in all of sport.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And at one point, it was one of the most valuable. And apparently now it is again. And a stadium situation, which is the worst in the league.
It is the worst.
You're in Landover. It's way too big. No one can get to it. It's a dump.
Yep. Awful.
And you want to go to D.C., but the politics of that are almost impossible.
Correct. Where are you going to put it and cost and who's paying for it?
Nobody in the DMV is going to be scratching out a check to build them a $2 billion stadium, which, by the way, $2 billion in 2023 doesn't get you what $2 billion got you in 2019.
Nope.
Not close.
Nope.
So they paid $6 billion
Yep.
for a brand that's among the worst in the league, without a stadium situation that's tenable in any way for sustained success. That's the price of doing business in this club.
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
Period.
Makes the Broncos thing seem like a steal.
Total steal.
Theft.
And don't you think that was because it was after a death as opposed to it was a different situation in terms of how the sale occurred? Or do you think it's just in a year something's gone up 33%?
I think it's that.
It's just clear the NFL is just king.
The TV deals
even more
we
clear.
want anybody will do anything to get into this world. They just want to get in the world.
I'm
just like those. Remember when everybody flipped out about the Clippers selling for like $2 billion?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Rockets sold for more?
Yeah.
You're like, one's in L.A. Wait, what?
It is surprising me, though, that the Broncos went for as little as they did. Hot market, great
branding,
legacy, great
good,
brand.
fine stadium. Great,
cool stadium.
Yeah. Own a region.
And they sold, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't it to the Walmart?
Yeah.
So, like,
right.
They're not haggling over $1 billion.
No.
Or maybe they're that shrewd and they took it to them.
Congratulations on saying the biggest number, you dummies.
That's right. Well. You watch Succession, Gibbe?
A little bit, not a lot.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
Congratulations on saying the biggest numbers, you dummies.
I love you, but you're not serious.
You're not serious people. I've used that consistently.
As you should.
Yeah. No, I think it's if you're them. So is Harris? He's not. No, Ruben owned he's the Fanatics guy. Is Harris in that business too? Where'd his money come from? The Sixers guy.
I don't know.
He's the primary juice behind it, isn't he?
He is the primary, and there's also a billionaire Mitchell Rales is involved. Yeah. I don't know who that is, but he looks like he would be in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Josh Harris Group. Harris is currently the owner of the Sixers, the Devils, and is estimated to have a net worth of $6 billion. His investment group also includes Magic Johnson, as well as Potomac businessman and billionaire in his own right, Mitchell Rales.
He co-founded Apollo Global Management.
There you go. Who's Mitchell Rales?
Well, he's a DC guy. He's from Chevy Chase.
You've got an owner that's got a sports background.
I spent many summers there. Well, yeah.
That's coming in. And I think that's pretty important.
He founded the Danaher Corporation in 1984, an American billionaire businessman and philanthropist. He's the chairman of the executive committee of Danaher. There
you go.
I don't know what that does.
So they Tillman Fertitta, who owns the Houston Rockets, Houston billionaire, he said he would not go above 5.6 for the commies.
By the way, how about this? Danaher, headquartered in Washington, D.C., company designs, manufactures, and markets medical, industrial, and commercial products and services. It's a diversified conglomerate founded by him and his brother. The company is named after the Danaher Creek in western Montana.
Really?
With the Rales brothers first conceptualizing the concept while fishing there.
I'm trying to
company
see where that is.
Net income in
oh my God, Bob Marshall Wilderness? That's right where I live.
Net income in 2021 for them was just $6.4 billion. Operating income $7.5 billion. That company is pretty good. Amazing. I never even heard of it. 81,000 employees. Goodness gracious, what a big company.
I'm going to tell you where this creek is.
Yeah, you probably have been in it. You probably
buckle in. Well, I mean, I grew up here.
Okay.
It's here.
Okay.
We have land here. I mean, it's right. I've never been there. It's way in, though. I mean, it's probably 50 miles in. The Rocky Mountain front, into the Rockies. It's way in. God bless them. God bless them.
How about that?
So you got to rebrand that thing right away. Like right now.
Red Hawks, right?
Red Hawks, Red Hogs, Red Wolves.
I think it's got to be Red Hogs.
Well, Red Hogs is a home run, but like
that's why I think it's
Red Tails.
That's why it's got to be it.
It cannot be commies.
Commies out.
You've got to divorce yourself from all of that. The handling at the end of it, that name, all of it. Shut it down.
Gone.
I just wonder, like, did they get new unis when they did that?
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
I'm trying to remember because that Nike deal, I mean, it's a 5-year you cannot get out of deals with Nike.
Are there extenuating circumstances?
Maybe with an ownership change you can.
Ownership change?
I mean, I would hope.
They would be – they've been the commies for 2 years?
Go to the Red Hogs. You change absolutely nothing from what the Redskins uniforms used to be.
Correct.
Other than instead, the helmet now has that R that was on the Joe Gibbs helmet.
R. That's it.
And that's it.
That's it. Done.
Done.
Solved.
Red Hogs. And you can have that ridiculous mascot that they trotted out there at our game against them.
The giant pig?
I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what's his name? Like Commander, like Bacon or something?
I don't know, but it was awful.
It was
like at halftime.
Terrified of
like the crowd's already angry because Carson Wentz is laying an egg.
Major Tutty is his name.
That their coach didn't know was a must-win game.
Look this dude up. I mean, look at this guy.
Holy cow!
Horrific.
They trotted that thing. We all
were
at
halftime.
Like,
it was unveiled.
What? Yeah. What?
Look at the giant. I mean, it's just a
look at his
pig-eating grin, man.
Actually, they didn't do it at halftime. I think they did it at the end of the first quarter. It was weird.
This says Washington Commanders unveiled their new mascot, Major Tutty, at the halftime of Sunday's 24-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns. Because remember, they had some of the Hogs were there. Yeah, they had some of their legends there.
And like, it's clear that they don't like the group that owned them to begin with.
Yeah,
they didn't even want to be there. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Let me tell you this. Take it a step further after you blessed our idea, which is the right idea. They could even call it the Red Hogs and refashion the exact logo with just like a hog, a regal kind of hog in that logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so easy.
The no-brainers the Gibbs are.
The Gibbs are.
That's the no-brainer. I mean,
right.
That's the simplest.
Oh, baby.
That's the easiest thing you can
Especially
do.
because they got a W on there now. Just the W out, R on.
Yeah.
And go back to the like the Joe Theismann uniforms. Obviously, removing the image where it needs to be removed, replace that with an R, and then you could replace on this because wasn't he also on there?
I mean, the R is pretty great.
Yeah, I'd put the R on the helmet.
Put that on the helmet, right there.
Yes, that goes on the helmet.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you wear that. You wear the helmets you wore when you won the 3 Super. You wear the exact uniform.
You wear exact uniform that you
just
wore.
Replace.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and the
logo.
The logo was never the problem for Native Americans. It was never the logo. It was the name that was the problem.
Yeah.
The other thing they need to do is the logo was designed one more time, bringing it back to Montana, by a Montana named Blackie Wetzel, who designed it and just wants it back. And Snyder would not give it to him.
Well, I hope these people give it to him.
Hope they
it's
make
an
it
awesome
right.
logo.
Yeah, it's
but
great.
Yeah, just throw the R on the helmet and call them the Red Hogs, baby.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not hard, man.
I've never seen this before, but they apparently had an old. They had an old one where they had a yellow lid with an.
The yellow one's beautiful with the R with the feathers. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Look at that uniform.
Yeah, just do that.
How beautiful is that thing?
I do like their maroon helmet, though.
Yeah, but there's 2 options for you.
Yeah, you can have 2 helmets now. There's your 2 helmets.
There's your
both R's, 2 different R's.
Here's your closet. We just did your closet for you. Done.
I mean,
problem solved.
Hey, Magic, get these guys to listen to this show, and just show us a few royalties. If you can drop $6 billion, I mean, we're talking a penny here. Pennies on the dollar.
Like universally beloved.
Yes. Yeah. And praised, lauded.
All of it.
Yeah.
All right. Lots to get to on the program today. We've got a little pre-draft conference call with Mel Kiper Jr. We will handle the Seattle Seahawks today. Michael Sean Duggar will join us coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. We get to them. It is a Mailbag Thursday. Get your questions in on that. Use the hashtag AskCBD. We'll get to those at 2:30 as well. A little thing or not a thing with some potential guys making changes around the league. We get to that as well. Gibby's back. The gang's back together. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Coming up in about 10-15 minutes from now, we will hit you with our defense combined roster rankings. Remember, we did the offense yesterday, and offensively we were second behind Cincinnati. Once we had it weighted correctly, what did the numbers end up? And you want the lower number here.
Yes. It ended up with us and Cincinnati with everything weighted out. We were tied at 17 total points. Baltimore was third with 21, and the Steelers were dead last, far and away, with 30 points.
Okay, so we'll do the defense on that momentarily.
And the defense way we're gonna only weight two things. Defensive end is gonna be 2 times. Corners are gonna be 2 times.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Do you want to put defensive end with defensive line, or do you want to just do it separate?
I think the thing is, though, somebody has a dominant defensive tackle. That's just as good as having a dominant edge rusher.
So I think D line and D tackle should just be defensive line group.
Okay.
Let's just do the group.
Okay.
That won't benefit us, but I mean that'll.
Should we do safeties and corners together? Defensive backs?
I'd be okay with keeping those two separated.
I think let's keep defensive end and defensive tackle separate.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
And I think but defensive end will get weighed more, because I think that is
slightly more, although Aaron Donald would argue differently.
Do you want to do 1.5 on defensive tackles?
Let's do that.
Okay. And maybe 1.5 on safety. The only thing that's not his linebacker. Okay.
All right.
Do a lot
I
of
like
math
it.
here. Okay.
All right. Gibbe.
Yes.
All right. So you've got a bunch of players here.
Yep.
Are these potential landing spots? Are we saying if they are drafted to one of these players, it's a thing, or if they are traded to one of these teams, which is it the bigger thing?
CBS Sports put this together.
All right, your boys,
our favorites.
You like those guys?
Let's
go. What do you got?
And it was
listen, if you
players who could be dealt during this year's NFL draft, and they list 3 different options or 4 different options for each one of these.
But just real quick, Gibbe.
Yeah.
If you keep blowing CBS people off for interviews that you scheduled, all we're going to get are their articles for these ridiculous lists.
Who'd I blow off?
Oh, you know who. I believe you were supposed to interview somebody from CBS yesterday at 3 or 4, and you told them, take a hike, brother. We got that covered.
I didn't, and I interviewed him this morning at 9:30. Thanks for the call.
Thanks. All right, so let's do it. So are we doing it from the standpoint of it would be a thing if this player was dealt to one of these teams, or which one of if this player is dealt and he goes to one of these things, one of these 3 teams?
That you think it could be a thing that he could go to one of these 3 teams.
Well, but I don't think it's a thing at all if Derrick Henry goes to Atlanta. I think it might be a thing if he goes to Buffalo. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So let's pick the one that it would be the biggest deal if he was there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Makes sense to you? Hey, are you with us? You with us?
Yes.
Hello, McFly.
He's already mailing it in.
I'm not mailing it.
Good to see you.
I said yes.
132.
I heard you said the team. Where would it be a thing? If they go to Buffalo, that's a thing.
You've turned into Bootsy.
I got it.
That's what you've turned into. And actually, NBC. It's more of an NBC move.
I'd rather be Bootsy.
They both thrive. His operation is based on picking out 4, 5, 6 choice words in a 15-word statement and then acting like he's dialed in.
First of all, I am dialed in. Second of all, the words that I did capture there were actually the
some of the
words.
most important words.
They were.
Fortunately, you missed the conversation around which way we were going to do it.
No, you want to do it. Are we doing it? Is it a thing if they get traded at all, or is it a thing only based on where they get traded? Which place? Yeah, I got it.
You're more capable than NBC.
I hope so.
He is 11.
And I'm 4X.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Almost 4X.
All right, so thing or not a thing, players who could be dealt during this year's NFL draft. They have Josh Jacobs, the 3 best options in their eyes, Buffalo, Arizona, or Seattle.
There's only one that it's a thing.
Yes.
Which one?
Buffalo, clearly.
Same with Derrick Henry. Atlanta's got Algier and doesn't need it. They've got Kenneth Walker and don't need it. And Atlanta, Arizona, at least currently, don't feel like they're in any position to contend right now. So to me, it's Jacobs to Buffalo would be a huge thing. Derrick Henry to Buffalo would be a huge thing.
If you were Buffalo, which one would you rather have? Jacobs, right?
I mean, Derrick Henry's still really good.
He definitely is.
He's got a lot of tread on the tires.
They also run it entirely almost out of the gun, though.
Yeah, but Jacobs doesn't help you there. The truth is, who would you want if you're Buffalo is Austin Eckler.
Yes. Yeah, that would be the biggest
and that's not even listed.
They would be so physical with Henry. If they had Allen and Henry.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I think if Jacobs or Henry end up in Buffalo, it is a big deal. I happen to think James Cook is awesome.
Yeah.
and I think he's going to be just fine.
Dalvin Cook could be moved, according to CBS Sports. Buffalo, Cincy, or Baltimore? Well, I don't like two of those three. Actually, I don't like any of those three.
Cincy to me is the thing.
That's the one for sure. It's Cincy as well. I concur. Do you concur, Doctor?
Indeed.
Yeah, I concur. Why didn't I just say concur?
McFly.
Austin Eckler.
It's Cincinnati for sure. If Cook went, I mean, first of all, I don't understand why Mixon's still on their roster.
I don't get it.
It makes no sense to me why he's still on their roster.
Hold on. Let me look this up. Well, go ahead, talk.
I actually golfed with someone last week this week when I was in Florida from Dayton, and they can't figure it out either. They're like, he's gone off the reservation.
How'd you hit the ball?
Not great.
Dalvin's not going to go to Buffalo where his brother is. It's Cincinnati. That's a spot. How'd you hit the ball? Did you hit the ball straight?
Thank
you enjoy yourself?
Give it. I did. I played pretty well.
Nice.
Good.
Beautiful.
All right, here's the thing. Mixon's contract right now, if they cut him pre-June 1st, $5.5 million to savings. They cut him post-June 1st. It's $10 million of savings, but they could just designate him with the post-June 1st like we did.
Yeah, they're done with him.
Yeah, $2 million a dead cap it would be, and they'd free up $10 million in space.
Yeah, they'll do that.
That's Mike Brown. Will he do that for $2 million?
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah, it's for $10 million.
He's got big fish to fry with number 9 down there, employee number 9.
Okay, Austin Eckler, Philly, Atlanta, or the Jets? Which one's a thing?
I mean, I guess Philly is the most thing of those because they were in the Super Bowl last year. I see no point in Atlanta being involved with him at all.
Jets are a thing too.
Jets would be a thing with him and Breece Hall.
I don't know why they keep putting Atlanta as an option.
Atlanta has young running backs.
Yeah, they're lazy. Whoever keeps linking running backs to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Philly or the Jets, both would be a thing.
DeAndre Hopkins. They've got a number of suitors. Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Packers, Panthers, Ravens.
Thing. Lions doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Packers don't have a quarterback. Panthers make no sense. Ravens. Bills or Chiefs.
That's what I circled. Bills or Chiefs. Lions, I feel like he would help the Lions because you'd have Jameson Williams as the flyer. You'd have DeAndre Hopkins on the other side as just a vacuum and move the chains, and he's still elite.
Yep.
And then you'd have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. That
would be one of the best receiving cores in the league.
That feels like everything. I'm going to put the Lions as a thing too.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
Someone is going to go to the Chiefs. Like someone that would not shock me.
So is Juju still there?
No.
New England.
Okay, so
he had one of the more bizarre free agency deals.
Yeah, Belichick gave him like $17 million or something crazy thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Belichick gave Juju more than he would have needed to pay to keep Jacoby Myers, who most people think today is better and younger.
Yeah.
Thing or not a thing, Allen Robinson. The three teams linked: Lions, Packers, Patriots.
I don't know how much juice is still left there, so I don't think any of that's a thing. If anywhere, I'd like him to go to the Lions because I think he could kind of do what we were talking about DeAndre Hopkins, where he's the number 2, you have a speed number 1, you have a stud slot.
Mm-hmm.
Got to stay on the field, though.
None of those are.
Yeah.
None of those move the needle.
No.
Defensive tackle, the guy whose bobblehead sits
he's
on top of the microwave.
Ed
right. Oliver.
Eddie Oliver. How's
Bears,
his career
Cardinals, Lions, Saints. Defensive tackle.
It's only a thing to me to the Lions or Saints because they're the only two that are serious people.
The Bears could become more serious people if they draft well and use their money. Like this would be a good example of the Bears, depending on what the give back is, where they could jump, solidify that defensive line and give them a little, but not as much as the Saints and Lions. But it would be interesting.
Yep.
Final one, Devin White, who's requested a trade out of Tampa Bay.
This is our guy.
Bills, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders.
I think Bills, Broncos, or Chargers is probably all a thing.
They're all good. Denver feels like they'll bounce back. And the other two are Super Bowl contenders. I think he'd make a big difference on both. Didn't the Bills lose a linebacker?
The Bills lost Tremaine Edmonds.
That's right. Yeah.
But they still have Matt Milano.
Yeah, but he would slot
Chargers.
right in there.
Chargers would have him and Kenneth Murray.
Yeah.
Would be coached by our good friend Jeff Howard there.
Yeah. Devin White. God, remember I was going to ride down Lou Groza on a steed with him.
I know. I wasn't.
No.
I'd have to go to my training.
Yeah, but I could do it right now. He could bring that sucker and we'd zip right down.
Why can't I think of my guy's name who would train me, who ended up on the show because he was so good? From Yellowstone. He was the one who was training them how to ride horses, and then he was such a legit guy.
Oh, Walt. Walt, is that what you're talking about on Yellowstone?
No, that's not his name. The guy with the mustache, the buckle bunnies, Jimmy.
Yeah, that is his name Walt?
Is it? That doesn't ring any bells for me.
Crushing this.
I feel like there's an L maybe in his name.
Lloyd.
Lloyd. See, there it is. Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd.
Lloyd. Same.
Same.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Yeah,
Lloyd.
That's my guy.
You and Lloyd would have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's made a nice living.
Good for Lloyd.
Fantastic.
I think he is.
He's out there busting his hump for 50 years.
By the way, add him to the list of people that could play your father.
I know 60 Lloyds.
Right? But, Lloyd, it was an actor.
I go home this summer, there's 60 of them.
He's an actor now.
Do you remember what I told you about that?
Yeah.
Lloyds don't get barrel racing bunnies.
No, they don't get the buckle bunnies.
No,
they
that doesn't
lose.
happen.
They watch other people get buckle bunnies, and
they
they
don't
get frustrated, and then they fight them.
And then they fight, and then that's how it goes. Those guys don't do that. That doesn't roll that way. That was the most, in a show full of implausible, that might take the cake.
But it didn't last.
It wouldn't have happened once, Coach. Not once.
Lloyd's pretty charismatic.
Not
better
once.
shape than you think.
You don't understand the feeding ground. There's no chance. Zero. All right. We're going to do the defensive breakdown, position breakdowns in the AFC North coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. New way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. So yesterday we did the AFC North position group rankings.
That's true.
We did the offensive side, and we told you where we stood, and acknowledging that we're going to have some orange and brown tinted glasses. But still, we thought we did it pretty objectively, and it ends up, from a roster standpoint on the AFC, to be pretty close to a wash.
Put us at third on receiver. I mean, we're quite objective.
All right, so let's do the defense.
Okay.
We'll keep it separate. We're going to put defensive ends and outside linebackers. Edge rushers is all the same. So from an edge perspective, it's really good. It's really good.
So I think, for being objective about it, I think that Pittsburgh's number one.
I agree with you. I think they are too.
Highsmith and TJ Watt.
Yeah. And I think that it's honestly, this is what's hard, because we have the best overall dude right there with Watts.
Hubbard is pretty good too.
Hendrickson and Hubbard as a duo is a deal.
I think that what I would say is
the top end of Miles is better than both, obviously, but the pair.
I think we do what we did at quarterback, where Pittsburgh gets one, we both get twos. And then 4 will be Baltimore, which is Dafe Owe and David Ajabo if he comes to be, and which I think
Baltimore is definitely the last one.
Yes. They don't have a great pass rusher right now.
No.
They've got Owe and Tyus Bowser are their top 2 pass rushers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's how we do it.
Pittsburgh's 1, and us and Cincinnati share the 2.
Yep. All right. The interior of the defensive line, this is, I think, again, so Pittsburgh's going to have Cam Hayward, which is great, but I don't think it automatically makes them number one.
Is Larry back?
So they've got, on the interior, they've got Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, Montravius Adams.
Yep.
And then they drafted DeMarvin Leal in the 3rd round a year ago. They've got like some depthy guys.
It's interesting because all 3 of the other teams in our division all have one dude. Pittsburgh's got a dude. Cincinnati's got a dude.
I mean, B.J. Hill played really well for them last year.
And Reeder's a dude.
Reeder's a dude.
And Baltimore's got Calais.
He's gone.
Oh, that's right.
He's in Atlanta now. So Baltimore.
Oh, that's right.
Here's the rundown. So
we're going to be last here. This is the weakest part of
B.J. Hill, DJ Reader for the Bengals. Hold on. Let me just throw out the Ravens. We got Dalvin Tomlinson, and then we have a question mark. So that's obviously not great there. They've got Michael Pierce, Justin Matabuke, and Broderick Washington. It's not like they have.
No, but it's a little more. I think it's probably.
I think it's 1, 2, 3,
Cincinnati.
3. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 3. How about that?
It's Cincinnati.
Yep.
Pittsburgh.
So this is
you could even do Pittsburgh. I mean, you could almost do Pittsburgh 1-1. You can almost do Pittsburgh, Cincinnati 1-1. Cam's so good.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, if you want to split it, you can. But I think it's. I mean, this is the weakest part of our team.
Yeah. So
even with Dalvin, like it's still the. Yeah.
So we're gonna go us full 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because so we ended up going Cincy 1.
Yep.
Pittsburgh 2, and us and Baltimore 3-3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Linebackers. I got to think
Baltimore's 1. Roquan Smith
and Patrick
Queen.
They are 1.
They're 1.
Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's got Jermaine Pratt. It's got Logan Wilson. We've got Owusu-Koramoah, Awak. I feel like we're kind of.
I think Cincinnati's 2, we're 3, Pittsburgh's 4.
Yeah, so the Steelers now have Cole
Holcombs
and Landon Roberts.
Yeah. So I think it goes Baltimore, Cincinnati, us, and Pittsburgh.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Cornerbacks.
Now I'm trying to remember who's all here. Pittsburgh will be last here.
I don't know. So Pittsburgh's got Pat Pete.
Oh, they've
got
him. That's right.
Levi Wallace and Akello Witherspoon are their top 3.
That feels like 4th to me.
Okay. Well,
Cincinnati. Who the hell's the corners in Cincy?
Yes. Okay. So Cincinnati is, as it stands right now, their corners are Chidobe Awuzie coming off of an injury, Cam Taylor-Britt, and Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton's not bad.
No, he's nice.
But that's Awuzie off injury, and Cam Taylor-Britt was not good.
I still think Pittsburgh's worse.
Oh, Arthur Male is their nickel. I'm sorry, in Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's probably.
Pittsburgh's the 4. Cincinnati's the 3. And are Humphrey and Peters both still in Baltimore?
Humphrey and Peters are both in Baltimore. They did not play particularly well last year. And then their nickel is Demarion Williams, who was a 4th-round pick a year, who was not particularly good. I think we're probably 1, based on how it was played last year.
Emerson, Ward, Newsome 1.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, Baltimore 2.
2 years ago, they would be.
They would be it.
Yep. Okay, so we're 1. So that's actually a 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, safety.
This was one last year where Cincinnati would have been in very good shape, but they're not.
They're not.
Now.
I think Baltimore's number 1. Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's 2.
They've got Minka. And who? Let's see. Minka.
Is it Edmonds?
Minka and DeMonte Kazee. No, he's gone.
Okay.
We've got Grant and Thornhill, and Cincinnati right now has Dax Hill and
Dax Hill.
Cincinnati's
last.
4th.
We're 3rd. Pittsburgh's 2 with Minka. Minka's elite. He's all pro, that type of stuff. And then Baltimore's 1.
I think we're better than. Yeah.
You got to throw. I mean,
okay, fine.
It's Minka.
Fine.
I mean, I love what you love. Delpit, you like, but we can't keep selling potential. Like they could go be a dude for a season.
Right. So we've got. We're at 8.5, 11.
Do you want to do specialists?
19.5. Yeah, we can add that in there. You want to do that? Specialists. Are we gonna? What are we wait? Just normal weighting. Baltimore's 1.
Baltimore's 1. Cincinnati's 2.
We're probably 3. And
York or Boswell.
And the punter. Our punter was very good.
Yeah, Bjorkes versus
and our return
Presley
was
Harvin the 3rd.
Yeah.
Jordan Stout. Yeah, Baltimore's 1.
All right, let's just do defensive rankings quick because that's
separately.
Yeah, so
we
12.5, 13,
algorithm.
17.5, 19. Wait, 12.5, 13, 17.5, 19. Cincinnati 5.5, 7, and 12, 19. Pittsburgh 5, 9, 17, 20. I mean, it's tight. Everybody's basically the same. We have Baltimore and Cincy are 19 total. We're 19.5 total. Pittsburgh's 20 total. Pretty even on that side.
Here's the moral of the story as you look at this thing and you think about this division and you think about looking up at it, looking down, it's all tight. Pittsburgh ought to be the 4.
Yes. And they are. So combined, if you were to do combined points, Pittsburgh is at 50.
Offense had more weight though, right?
Pittsburgh's at 50.
Like
a little bit because of quarterback.
Points available was more.
Cincinnati.
Because I think we may have done too much juice for the offensive line. I think we did. Did we go 3 times for quarterback? What did we do times?
No, offensive line was just 1 time.
Receivers, did we do too much weight?
Oh, no, we did 3. You're right. We did 3 times for offensive line.
Offensive line probably should have been like 1.5 or 2. We probably gave it too much weight. Now in retrospect, thinking about what we did with defense.
Oh, no. Offensive line was just weighted once. Once. What was rated double was quarterbacks were rated triple.
Yeah.
And wide receivers were rated double, and that was it.
Okay. So then that's fair.
Okay,
that's fair.
So Steelers are at 50 total. Cincy's at 36 total. Baltimore's at 40 total. And we are at 36.5 total.
That's about where you think it should be.
That's about right.
And then the one that what you can't measure is intangible.
Yep. And
so that's coaching acumen. It's the organization, all of those things. Like that's the other part of it.
And
you can't measure that.
You can't measure that. But if you were to right now, just based off of historical successes from a coaching standpoint, we're probably, even though I think our coaching staff is excellent in this division. I mean, Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh have to be 1 and 2.
They've won Super Bowls,
and then
the other guy's been to 1 and 3 straight AFCs.
Yeah,
no, two straight AFC championship games. Yeah. So that's where it all gets. But I think what you see is when you compare the actual rosters, you're right there.
Yes, we could be elite.
And this division is now we had it's also the bet on Deshaun being Deshaun of 2 years ago.
Well, that's
we
the
had
whole
him
thing.
tied with Lamar.
That's the whole
So
thing.
that's why, anytime we have these conversations, whether about third round or free agents or any of it, the whole operation is Watson being Watson.
Yes.
That's it. It's just like in Baltimore. Like we have this Baltimore conversation. Like it's all predicated on Lamar being Lamar and being in Baltimore.
Yeah.
If he's not, who the hell knows, man? I mean, they could fall off a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
If he's not there.
Dreadful.
A cliff. Because there's no plan B.
No.
None.
No.
So that was fun.
It's fun. And I think it's a good look at it. I think it's a pretty honest look at it. Now, other teams in our division have an opportunity to get better via the draft than the Browns do because of our trade.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of what you do there is you say this is where you are going into the draft.
Yeah.
But every one of those teams will be better
we can
off.
revisit it after
Yeah.
the draft.
Yeah. And none of them have 2 1s, right?
In our division, I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we continue our offseason tour around the league, a visit to Seattle. Michael Sean Duggar will join us, analyst and reporter for the Seahawks at The Athletic. He joins us coming up next.
I've been excited to talk Seahawks,
Me
to
too.
be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. Very exciting team. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake causes your injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head on the Twisted Tea hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. We continue our off-season tour around the NFL with Seattle. Michael-Shawn Dugar joining us, analyst reporter, covering the Seahawks for The Athletic. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time. I'll tell you what, you look at this roster, you think about where this operation was a year ago with the trade of Russell Wilson, and I remember sitting here on this show going, boy, they're tanking. They're going to be in a position to draft C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, something like that, and instead they go to the postseason, and now you look at that roster, you think of the draft, and you think it could be an up-and-coming team, and yet they're still picking fifth. Just take me through the last year from the Seattle perspective in terms of how they got to where they are now.
It's really important to separate, like you just mentioned in the question, whose perspective you want to look at it from, right? Because if you look at it from Pete Carroll's perspective, he entered last season as a 71-year-old. I think he turned 71 in week 2. He had no intentions of being terrible so they could get the hot college kid. Mm-hmm. That's his mind just doesn't work like that. John Schneider, the general manager, this is he and Pete's 14th draft together they're about to have, this upcoming one. So last year was like their 13th season together. So look at it from their perspective. Being terrible to get high draft picks is just not their bag. That's just kind of not how they get down. And from Pete's perspective, it's an age thing. It's, remember, this is the guy that wrote the book called Win Forever. So I have that book on my desk when I work on all my stories. It's kind of a reminder, like, okay, these guys are never just going to, like, intentionally put a substandard product out there. And then John Schneider, grew up a Packers fan. He's from Wisconsin. He used to work for the Packers. And he every year when he was growing up as a Packers fan, all he wanted was just to feel like the team had a chance, like they were doing everything they could to have a chance. And from a kid, he's kind of taken that mindset. I think John's like in his 50s now. He takes that mindset with him every year. Like he wants the fan base to feel like every year the team is going for it. Whether it works is whatever, right? But he just wants them to feel like that in August and September. So from their perspective, they always felt like they could get better by trading Russ. Crazy as that sounds, from their view, they felt that way. They felt like they could put Drew Lock out there or Geno Smith, run the ball a lot, have a really good defense, have maybe the best receiving duo in the league, and run the ball super well with Rashad Penny. Like that was the plan going in. Did I agree with that plan? Absolutely not. But that's why I said it's important to note their perspective. Those guys had that plan, and they just happened to hit a bunch of the home runs in the draft. Geno Smith was like a top 10 quarterback unexpectedly. And now here they are playing with house money in the draft. Their original pick is 20, but they have the 5th pick because Russell Wilson was worse than anyone could have imagined last season.
He was, and Geno Smith was better than anybody could have imagined last season. Come in and he completes, 70% of his passes, 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, a rating of 100.9. Shocking. Pro Bowler, the whole deal. He is back. They re-signed him. What's kind of the feeling about Geno at age 32? And is this a team that could use that bonus pick to try to also select a quarterback of the future?
Yeah, the guys in the building had a lot of faith in Geno. And as Geno likes to remind people, and I think he's fair in doing this, like he didn't just sign with the Seahawks last year. He signed a 1-year deal last April, but that was his 4th 1-year deal with the team. So he was part of the infrastructure. I put it this way: Geno has been with the Seahawks as long as DK Metcalf has.
Yep.
Right. They came in basically the same year. So that puts it in perspective, right? He's been around. So the guys knew him. They knew how he works. They knew everything: how he dressed, his family, the music he listens to, how he is on a good day, how he is on a bad day, what type of throws he can make, what type of throws he can't make. That list is very small. So there was a lot of faith in him in the building, and all last year, the teammates and the coaches kept being asked "Hey, how you feel about this Geno thing? It's kind of surprising, huh?" And by week 7, they were kind of just in a nice way, "Hey, why don't you idiots ask us something else?" Because clearly we have been telling you guys for about a month or two that this dude can throw. If you guys are still surprised by week 7 or whatever, which I think they were atop the division at that point, they were just you guys need to ask us something else. I wrote a story about Geno in December, and the lead of the story is quite literally DK yelling in the hallway, "Get some better questions." He was joking a little bit, but he was serious at the same time. It's you guys got to stop asking us why we're so surprised Geno was good. We've been telling you guys Geno was good. So him re-signing is just, the organization just put their money to support what everyone has felt kind of inside the building. This dude can ball. There's that cliche, guys can make every throw or whatever. I hate that line. But when I watched the film, I'm like, okay, I kind of get why you just say that, because you can't just list every single throw. That would take too long. But he can make all of them. He's got some ones that he's better at than others, but, like, he can push it downfield. He can run some quick game stuff. He can be a play-action guy. He can just be a pure drop-back guy. Like, there's a lot of love for Geno in the building. His contract reflects that. But most importantly, like, the guys who play with him believe in him. When the guys who play with you believe in you, you can feel that impact on the field. You can feel that waning a little bit in the final month of Russ's season, which is why the last 18 months of the Russell Wilson and Seattle experience was just so messy.
Mike, he's a 32-year-old quarterback, which is not a lot of tread on the tires. I mean, it's not that many starts. I would assume that he feels great, looks great. Do you think he will be the last intended starting quarterback for Pete Carroll in Seattle? We can't control injuries, but provided there aren't any, is he the answer, I guess, of what I'm asking for the next 3 to 5, or as long as Pete wants to coach Seattle?
That's a good question. I lean towards yes, as intended start. I think that's a good point about the injuries, just because. So coaches tend to play for the now. Right, the coaches, right? I got to put a team on the field tomorrow, and I want the best 11 or 22, however you want to phrase it, guys on the field right now. Whereas sometimes a front office can have a plan, like a long term, they ask you sometimes, hey, what's your 5-year plan? Right, like a front office has to kind of think long term in that way, and that's the conundrum with their 5th pick, right? So the 5th pick, take Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, or Tyree Wilson or something. That's playing for the now, right? Like, you can compete in a wide open NFC today. If in theory, if you make that pick, you take Anthony Richardson or Will Levis or even C.J. Stroud or something, well, then you're playing for tomorrow. You're playing down the road, a guy who may start in 2024, at the earliest, more likely probably 2025, right? And so I think that's the conflict there with the 5th pick. You got, generally speaking, your front office who has a long-term mindset with, generally speaking, a coaching staff who's like, all right, we need a guy to help us win a title right now. And so I think because the head coach, in this case Pete Carroll, has final say over the roster, I would lean towards them picking someone to help them win in the short term. The guy's on a 4-year contract regardless, so it's kind of the long term, but you guys get what I'm saying. The quarterback ain't helping them in 2023 at all. It's just not. Whereas Tyree Wilson could, Jalen Carter could, Will Anderson could, so that's why I kind of lean towards them using this pick on a defensive player who helps them now. And if they do that, I don't see them picking in the top 10 anytime soon ever again.
When you look at this team in the offseason, to that point, your skill talent pretty established. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker at running back, who really showed a lot in that rookie season, Noah Fant at tight end. It seems like the big moves this offseason were mostly on the defensive side of the ball. Julian Love, Bobby Wagner back, and then in the middle, Draymond Jones, and then Jarran Reed returning to Seattle. Evan Brown was probably really the notable one on the offense. What did you think of the moves on that defense, and is this a defense now that is ready to complement an offense that can be very explosive?
Yeah, I'm not totally sold. I feel like there was a lot of lateral movement up front. Because, look at all the guys on the D-line. Like you mentioned, they have Jarran Reed and Draymond Jones. That's it, really. Their other 2 interior defensive linemen are Miles Adams, he was exclusive rights free agent, former undrafted guy out of Rice who played a little bit last year, and Gerard Hewitt. I don't even know where he went to college, but he's on one of those futures deals, so not really on the 53s, more like on the 90-man team, and then that's it, right? They cut Al Woods, they cut Quentin Jefferson, who has since signed with the Jets. They cut Shelby Harris, who I believe was a free agent. They let Poona Ford walk, who's still a free agent. They let L.J. Collier go, who I think he signed with the Cardinals. So they just don't have any bodies. Brian Monet is another one of their interior defensive linemen. He blew his ACL in week 15, so that's going to take a while to come back. So they just don't have bodies. So even if I thought Draymond and Jarran are an upgrade in talent, well, these 2 guys can't play 100% of the snaps. Hell, they probably couldn't play 70, consistently all year. They're big dudes, right? So that's really, really concerning. It's to go into the draft, and they don't have any money either. I think the Seahawks, after Bobby's deal, are in the hole in terms of effective cap space, which accounts for draft pick signings, which is important for those guys because those signing bonuses for the 20th pick and the 5th pick aren't cheap. Those guys are going to be in your top 51 in terms of your salary, right? So they don't have any money. they don't really have a lot of bodies on the interior. Even if I think there's some talent upgrades, Julian Love, and I think Bobby's a upgrade over Cody Barton. I think Devin Bush is probably a wash, while Jordan Brooks recovers from his ACL tear. Yeah, they've done a lot of moves. I don't really know if they got better. They just got different.
Gotcha.
I mean, sometimes that means better, but I think different is a better word for these guys instead of like upgrade or improved or anything like that.
Well, yeah, 4 picks in the top 52, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 5 in the top 83. That's where they're going to have to find some of those guys on those rookie contracts. And by the way, it felt like they did a great job in the draft last year. Is that something that, John Schneider, when he built the Legion of Boom, that's how they did it? They hit in the draft, late picks, Tariq Woolen, kind of like Richard Sherman, a later pick. Is that something that everybody's excited about, that they've got now some real ammo to get impact players really anywhere they need them?
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're, like you mentioned, they have like 5 picks in the top 90.
Yep.
I mean, and they don't have a lot of needs that are like at premium spots, right? So they have 2 rookie tackles. They're good there. They got 2 receivers in Tyler and DK who are under contract together. I think they're like 2025, so you're good there. They obviously have a quarterback, so they could take one as like a luxury pick, as we discussed. They could take an edge rusher. That's like one premium need, but like they have Tariq Woolen at corner. So like they're good on the premium spots. So all of those picks from like 20, they have 20, 37, 52, 83, like those are where you get some of the meat that you need. Like maybe, a center, another guard, inside linebacker, nose tackle, all of these things that you don't take at 5, but you need later. And you could get like a starting center at pick 37 too. It's not like you're getting the 4th best center, like you would be getting like the 8th best center with 30, or the 8th best receiver with the 37th pick. So yeah, they're in a really good spot, though it is crazy what a difference a year makes. Like going into the 2022 draft, they were not getting the benefit of the doubt as an organization, because look at their 2021 draft. They took D. Eskridge, Trey Brown, and Stone Forsythe. I imagine no one outside of Seattle really knows who those 3 dudes are, right? And that was their entire draft class, right? So then you go to 2022, and they get the runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year and the runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Boom. Now they look like geniuses again. So, like, the draft is funny in that way. You're pretty much only as good as your last draft. So right now, these guys got a lot of benefit of the doubt, but they just got to deliver. And those last 2 draft classes, 2021 and 2022, have shown how random this whole exercise is. 1 or 2 picks turn into home runs, and you look like the best front office in the NFL.
Well, and the crazy thing is, you think about, and kind of the theme of this entire conversation, we'll get you out of here on this one, is look at how much different the division is now than it was a year ago. San Francisco is obviously the class, but they've got catastrophic injuries for 2 of their quarterbacks who played last year. Both played. It's obviously Purdy played very well. They're bringing in Darnold. You think about Arizona. I mean, last year everyone thought they were an up-and-comer. Now they could be the bottom of the league. They're picking 3rd overall. Kyler's going to miss time after a catastrophic injury. The Rams went from Super Bowl champion to I don't know exactly what they are right now. So
yeah,
the Seahawks have kind of – all of it's changed in the course of a year, right?
Yeah. No, what's helped keep me – I keep that in mind now for the last, I think entering the 2019 season, I remember writing something to the effect of, here's all the players who need to step their game up so the Seahawks can catch up to the Rams. Right? I think the Rams had won the division the last 2 years at that time. And then the Niners won 13 games or something and started off 10-0. And it just flipped. They had that was the Bosa rookie year, and they just became a juggernaut. They lost the Super Bowl. And then I remember doing something similar going into this season, all right, here's how the Seahawks can catch the Rams. The Rams, they won the Super Bowl, they're the cream of the crop. They got to measure themselves up against these guys. And then the Niners come on again. And so I've learned just you can have these expectations in the summer about how your division is going to look, and then things can just turn, whether because of an injury or a rookie class pops or a second-year class pops. And then the whole NFC, though, I'd expand it. The whole NFC is wide open to me. Yeah. There's no team where you're like, dude, we are kind of screwed if we have to travel to insert team here in the postseason. Obviously, it's not super easy to win in Philly, or it's not even super easy to win in Green Bay, right? So, but still, none of those teams are super scary as we talk right here in April. So, yeah, that's why I think ultimately the Seahawks should be in a let's push the chips in now mode like they are, because it's so wide open. An injury here, or a 4th-round rookie pops there, and boom, you could be finding yourself in a divisional round just like that.
Really could. Thanks for your perspective, bud. Appreciate you as always.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That's Michael Sean Dugar joining us On the Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea Hotline, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns, keep it twisted Cleveland with the categories on the Seahawks coming up next. Still time to get your questions into the fellas. You get them in. You both of you, either one. We'll take them. We got a little mailbag for you on a Thursday edition. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Time for a deeper dive on the Seahawks of Seattle, one of the more exciting teams that you'll find in all of the National Football League.
It's a team that feels like they're so nice. I wouldn't even mind if we did this twice. So let's
roll.
Let's dive into it.
All right, uniforms, keep them. Oh, is it a new tune?
It is.
Little Willie Nelson.
Willie.
Yeah.
I saw Willie Nelson in Red Lodge, Montana, at the rodeo grounds in Red Lodge, Montana, and it was an incredible show. Played for like 5 hours. He would go in, a little smoke break, then come back out, smoke break, come back out, like lasted forever. A motorcycle guy gets in a motorcycle accident going up the Beartooth Highway and starts what became known as the Willie Fire. And it was such an enormous fire in the West at the time that like the NBC Nightly News broadcast from it. Like Tom Brokaw was broadcasting from Red Lodge, Montana. They eventually called it the Willie Fire. True story.
He's been known to.
More Willie Fires. He's
been known to light some trees.
Yes, yes, very much. Also, more Willie Nelson songs than you think, even if you're not from Montana.
No doubt.
You'd be like, oh, he did this too. Oh, this one too. There's a lot.
He is a Montanan?
No, he's a Texan.
No. Okay.
I just think it's, the West,
okay.
rodeo,
sure.
all of that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it just does those tours. Dave Letterman, by the way, also brought Willie to Choteau, Montana, which was right near my hometown, and he performed at a rodeo. Because Letterman has a ranch out there, and he brought him there to perform as a gift to the town.
What a nice thing. Benevolent.
Yeah, there you go.
Benevolent. All right, uniforms.
Keep them, change them. What variety?
So I don't mind the grays still from this one. I don't mind.
You don't say.
The blues.
Mm-hmm.
The whites are okay.
Yeah. The highlighters are
gotta go. They're out. But let's just be honest. I'm totally for running everything back to the days of Dave Craig, Kurt Warner, Steve Largent,
Cortez Kennedy.
Yeah, that beautiful blue with silver.
Kelly Green.
The hawk on the helmet was.
It's a great bird.
It was a better bird.
This is a good bird too.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the few modern designs that actually fits the organization. I don't feel that way about Denver or all the other ones that have the ridiculous piping and all that. I think this one actually fits the organization, the city, and all of it. Seattle also has done a very Pittsburgh thing, in that all of their teams are a shade of blue and a shade of green.
Yep.
So they keep, like, the Mariners are that way.
Sure.
The Kraken now are that way. The Seahawks are that way. Their MLS team is that way. If they ever get the Sonics back, green and yellow, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do there, but they will get the Sonics back probably soon.
do think that the bird, when he was more multicolored than he is on the current helmet, when he had the green on the bottom instead of the gray, which it is now, I thought it looked more kind of Native American or Algonquin or something like that.
I like it. Yeah. I'm fine with your.
Like
I'm
a
fine
totem
with.
pole.
I'm fine with. Yeah, I'm fine with keeping them as they are and using the Largents.
You got to have them
one-off.
in. Yes,
they need to be in, or flipping it and going back to the Largents full time, and then having this be the one-off. But I think they need to use both.
I just think when you see the current uniform, who's the first person you think of?
Richard Sherman.
I think Sherman or Russ.
Yeah, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, like
Legion of Boom,
Sean Alexander,
Wagner.
Dude.
Beast.
Yeah, they're good.
I wish we'd mentioned his name on this program.
Me too, because he was. I owe him a great deal from a fantasy football victory.
Say.
Yep. Stadium. I've not been.
Great, elite. Probably. I want to, without being hyperbolic, I'm going to say it's a top 3 outdoor stadium in the NFL. So eliminating the domes, I think it's a top 3.
I'm pretty sure it is the loudest.
Oh yeah, it's built.
I mean, the problem is we don't know Kansas City because Kansas City actually has windows in their booth that don't come out. That's a whole conversation for another time.
Oh man, Jim's can't. He's got to hate that.
Donovan cannot be pleased.
Awful.
The voice,
but so when they redid their press box, like their radio voice, like designed the radio booths, and he doesn't like the windows out. The windows cannot come out.
Wow.
I just think it's always important to maintain flexibility in a situation where you can.
Why would you restrict yourself where there is no reason to?
Don't limit me.
Yeah.
And they also have baristas in the radio booths.
That's nice.
Compliments of Starbucks.
Yeah. One of the most shocking, maybe heel turns in the history of American sports. I mean, it's right up there with Art Modell. Schultz, who owned Howard Schultz, who owned Starbucks, owned the Sonics, sold them to Clay Bennett, knowing that he was moving them to Oklahoma City. I mean, that's like turning on your town. Like, can he even go home?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's an incredible turn.
Yeah, they would.
It's an incredible turn.
There were some great players who donned the Sonics uniform.
Dude, they were a class organization. They won it in the late 70s. I want to say 78. And then they were good. They had the Detlef Schrempf, Tom Chambers, and then into Gary Payton and Rain Man, Sean Kemp.
Young Ray Allen.
Young Ray Allen was very good. They had Rashard
Kevin
Lewis,
Durant.
Ray Allen. They had a squad. Well, yeah, they drafted Durant.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the Sonics were still the Sonics? They had Durant, Westbrook. It's another one of those great sliding doors. If they never leave Seattle, and I don't know that Oklahoma City was the reason Durant left Oklahoma City or not, or if it had anything to do with it, but if they are Seattle and they're owned by one of the, I don't know, that's a city with a lot of wealthy humans. If one of those people owned them, similarly the way Paul Allen owned the Blazers, would they have kept Harden, Westbrook, and Durant?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
And they had them all.
That's right.
At the same time.
Yeah.
In their prime. Road trip. Can't drive it.
Absolutely.
Unless you get an RV, but fly
it.
And it's amazing.
Beautiful. Go up to Mount Rainier. Go up to the Puget Sound.
It's gorgeous.
Go to the market where they toss the fish around.
Pike Place Market.
Pike Place Market. It's great. Space Needle. Check it out.
It's awesome.
If you like Nirvana, make a pilgrimage around the Nirvana locales.
A little bit of music came out of there. Yeah, they're
grunge.
Quality.
A genre.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Player you want from their current roster? That's an easy one. I think
DK Metcalf.
That's right. Yeah.
Tariq Woolen is not a bad.
No, he'd be good
too.
But DK
Metcalf
is a game wrecker.
Yeah. We're about weapons here.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you noticed.
I don't know if you noticed all the weapons.
Yep.
All-time favorite Seahawk. You went Largent.
Went. What does that mean?
I feel like
if I were to we've said this before.
I feel like that's where you're going to go, and I said that in the past tense, almost trying to be prescient of what would be said.
Which is a good job by you. However, I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to harken back to a Monday night in the mid-2000s where my guy,
your guy,
Sean Alexander, ran for 5 touchdowns, over 200 yards, and me and S came back and defeated the doctor in his face.
That's pretty good.
How about you?
So I'll go Beam. This was Beamsy's favorite team when he was little. Like the colors, I always have him pick another team, preferably in the NFC, for rooting interest for the playoffs, so they're more interested. So he loved this team, and I can still hear him saying, "Cam Chancellor."
Bam, bam, Cam.
Loved it. I recorded him actually when they cut him, and he was not pleased.
Devastated.
Not pleased about that at all. I got to find that video. It's pretty funny. Playoff team, absolutely.
100%.
Biggest off-season addition to come, to be determined.
Probably coming in the draft. But as we sit
Bobby.
here today, it's probably bringing back Bobby Wagner from an emotional lift standpoint. And then Draymond Jones was the big ticket item up front.
But they're going to have 2 1s to add to this roster.
Yeah, 5, 20, 37, 52, 83. They have 5 in the top 83, 4 in the top 52. They're going to load up.
And they're really nimble.
They are nimble.
They can go a lot of different ways here in the draft. In terms of at 5, I think they pick at 5 and like 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
No, not 18. Maybe it's in the 20s. But they've got a lot that they can do here. They go a lot of different directions. If they want to get quarterback in the future, they could. I've seen some people have them with Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are saying that Hendon Hooker is going to go in the second round, and that there are a lot of teams that are hot on the Hendon Hooker trail.
I could see somebody going end to one and making it
quarterback
happen.
And you like him, you take him at the end of the first round, right?
Absolutely. All right, we'll do a little mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio. Time for a little Mailbag Thursday edition. Hello, Gibby.
Hi, gentlemen.
Gibby, what was the highlight of your trip?
Some fantastic food.
Ooh, what? Where?
Got some great dinners in Fort Myers, up into Punta Gorda.
How's that coming? Fort Myers Beach. Did you go out there? Where the
I didn't go anywhere near it.
Okay.
I'm told that there's a lot of money going into it from a corporation standpoint. It's not going to look anywhere close to what it
did.
Yeah.
It was. It's gone. It was a total loss, right?
Yeah,
Fort Myers.
It looked like a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
We took a drive because there's this one little place, and it's near Pine Island. We went out to it just to see, restaurant-wise, we knew there was some good food, and you get some fresh seafood that comes in. It's one of the biggest seafood ports. We went there, and that doesn't really exist.
Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite Gulf fish is? Cobia. Delicious.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
Cobia.
I do like a good red snapper.
I bet you do.
Yep, darn right.
Darn right.
You know how Zagura's not even dialed in when he's delayed on that reaction.
I'm excited about cobia.
Uh-huh.
Classic NBC. It's always moved. That's so his move. That's his move.
I'm dialed in on cobia, brother. I'm looking it up, actually. What is cobia? I don't know.
They're delicious.
Is it a red fish?
Mm-mm.
Is it a white fish?
White fish. Yeah.
Do you soak it in like a buttermilk?
I've had it.
And then
I've had it blackened.
Ooh, I do. I like the
black
Soak it in
cobia.
buttermilk. He's trying to eat fish to stay lean and on the scene.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do that.
No. You soak it.
Kind of looks
I
like
can't
a
remember
little
the name of the fish, but you soak it and then you throw it
nice
on the
looking
grill,
fish.
season it up, and it's quite nice.
You can find them in Destin, 3 to 4 feet long.
Destin's where I had it. That's
82
it.
pounds. They're the biggest. By far the best thing about the variety is its flavor. Naturally mild, buttery taste, unlike any other fish. It's great
like
for sushi, tacos.
Yeah.
Flaky texture, moist and tender, whether you fry, saute, or bake it.
It's delicious. You can never get it up here. It's in the Gulf. I've had it. The only time I ever had it is in Destin. I've never had it.
They eat mostly crabs and shrimp.
That would explain it.
But will also feed on squid and smaller fish if they need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food was great. I had some really good meals. The ability just where my in-laws live to be doing something and then just pivot and go, I'm going to take the golf cart up to the one pool and just jump in for 30 minutes.
Great.
And then I'll come back and I'll finish what I'm doing.
I think if you can get to a point in life where your primary means of transportation are a golf cart, then you've
done
won
it.
Yeah.
You've done it. Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Yep.
So
OBJ's got his little Ravens presser going on here today.
He does, yeah.
From Josina Anderson, OBJ says that he came to Baltimore because he is at the stage in his life where he wants to be wanted and not just where they'd like to have him. Emphasizes it was not just the money. They showed me a lot of love. Sure it was.
Thing or not a thing? Not a thing. Is that the real truth, Bootsy? No, it's not the real truth.
I don't think it is the real truth.
That is, you, sir, are a liar. And it's fine. I don't blame him. Like, it's...
Yeah,
just tell me. Like, I bet he did a cash grab.
He's football. He's staring down the barrel of his football mortality. Yes. And it's a $17 million, upwards of $18 million payday, 15 of it guaranteed. There was nobody else that was offering that. So you take it not knowing who the quarterback is because the check's cash, baby.
I feel like
it's
you're
Don
the
Draper.
Ravens.
That's what the money's for.
If you're like the Ravens, though, it's a big outlay. It's a big outlay.
I think it's.
I love Odell, and I wish him very well. I'm excited to see him.
I would have, if it worked out to where
I would have loved him to come back.
I would love for him to come
100%.
back. I think that that what Baltimore did was Odell is so popular amongst NFL players, and he's got real juice. And my theory on it is that this will play well with Lamar.
It's definitely for Lamar. It's an olive branch for Lamar. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah.
Unless he's writing the check for $200 million.
Ian Rappaport right now is saying that the signing of Odell Beckham Jr. and the future of Lamar Jackson are not unrelated. Why would you say they are related? Why do you have to have double negative?
Come on. I mean, Pedro's
He's too busy
not
to talk to you
that.
right now. He's got calls coming in.
Did you guys ever get him? Did you ever circle him down?
There was another journalist from the NFL Network who big timed us.
Oh man,
2. Sad.
He's got friends in the building. We'll leave it at that.
That was egregious. That was one of the craziest things I've ever experienced in my life.
Get your thoughts together. It'll be great.
Oh, that's right.
I owe you one. Yeah, I got to get my thoughts together.
My thoughts together. Good Lord. All right.
Oh, you can tweet the show at Browns_Daily using the hashtag AskCBD. Ethan, where do you guys think Bobby is? He's been MIA for too long.
Is it possible that Ethan is Bobby? I mean, Ethan's unbelievable. I mean, it's at a similar rate as Bobby.
It feels like they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
He said, you got the cream hoodie. When does the push for a CBD quarter zip start?
We did. I mean, we did that for these many years.
We always are pushing.
Always pushing for it. There was even a time where we were talking with Senior Swag about a certain manufacturer and a certain style.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't come to fruition.
Sad.
And what we even had, did we have a crest? I can't remember what we were putting. I remember it was here, but I can't remember.
Yeah, we had that Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. We had the crest.
Big B, the flag. Right. It was like our house, our sigil.
Sigil. Yeah, that thing was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Gorgeous.
That was on my Twitter for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
Long time.
That was gorgeous.
He also said, I don't know where this is coming from, so maybe you guys can help me. I loved hearing from Bo and Nate about the bachelor party this week.
Yeah.
So this guy is being picked up tomorrow in a van by his buddies to go to his bachelor party, and he asked us what to pack, and he knows nothing. He doesn't know where he's going or nothing.
Yep.
Love it. We did that with my one buddy.
Of course you did.
We old schooled
I think what I said yesterday was, I don't know anybody who would do this. Gibby, love it, did it.
By the way, he says I want Gibby's advice too. So Gibby, what's your?
Might be the most appropriate.
What did you
advice.
guys hold on? What did you guys do with the person that you picked up in a van?
The instructions that my good friend Mr. Tancredi was given. It will be in town. We are not leaving town.
See that you got to have something. You got to give something.
But that's it. I'm not giving you anything else. I was there with him awaiting the kidnapping party. His wife-to-be was upstairs. I had told her what time this was all going down. We'll be back at some point on Sunday. So,
what's your advice? What do you tell him to pack?
Yeah, what's your advice?
I mean, is it here in town?
No,
we don't know.
He
knows nothing.
Take a pair of shorts.
That's what I said.
Take a pair of jeans.
Quarter zip.
Yeah, quarter zip. Take a swimsuit.
Swimsuit. I said that too.
And go live.
I recommended aspirin and B12 as well.
I like it.
Well, I feel like if you're throwing a good party, you already have that available and ready to go for the person.
Yeah, true.
If you're a good party planner, but we'll see.
Yeah.
H. Schneider, where are you all going to be during the draft? We'll be here in Berea at the Cross Country Mortgage Campus. We will have shows Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday afternoon. Dave started watching Yellowstone after hearing you guys talk so much about it on the show. Only on season 3, but so far I'm enjoying it. What other binge-worthy show should I watch?
Great question. Okay. Succession, if you haven't watched Succession. Game of Thrones, if you never watched that. The Wire, if you never watched that. I'm digging all the other Yellowstone spinoffs too. 1923 especially, I think, is a delight. Outlander, I've loved. I'd recommend that highly.
All right. Other than
Sopranos.
the ones you mentioned on HBO, binge-worthy. I mean, binge-worthy, I always think of that as, do I have like 5-6 seasons? 2 great short season HBO series, Rome and Deadwood, are both sensational.
Yeah.
You mentioned The Wire, you mentioned Thrones, Sopranos, Succession. On AMC, Mad Men and Breaking Bad are both sensational.
Yep.
On FX, Justified is amazing.
Chalamet,
Me,
right?
I would throw
Chalamet?
Rescue Me into that. One of my favorites.
Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant. That's right.
Both Timothy.
Yeah. Chalamet, very different.
Very different. Yeah. The Americans is amazing on FX as well. Love The Americans.
It doesn't.
So good.
Beginning epic.
Yeah.
Then the middle season's not.
But then
it ended well.
It ends very strong. Yeah.
24, the first few seasons, 24.
First season, and first 2 or 3 of 24 are
outrageous.
Great, yeah, those are good.
I really like Daisy Jones and the Six. I think if you like that kind of era of music, I think it is an awesome.
What is that
awesome? It's on Prime. It's a series. It's a book that they turned into a series. It's loosely based on Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, very loosely, and it's awesome. The music's awesome. It's Elvis's granddaughter is the
lead
female in it. She's Daisy. It's just cool. It's awesome. It's about this fictional, but it's great. I thoroughly enjoyed all.
Stevie
10
Nicks
episodes.
threw a lot of heaters.
There's a lot of heat in this.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of good music too.
All right. Very good.
Love a dog today. Would you rather travel 100 years to the past or into the future?
1923 feels a lot like the Great Depression to me. Feels like a lot of hardship coming our way.
Am I just going to visit, or can I take advantage?
Good question.
Because if I go, I'd want to go back and take advantage of what I know.
Right.
Because it's all going to go to hell, and I'll be ready to pounce.
You'd have Boogle.
Yeah.
Or Noogle.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of these came in late yesterday.
Businesses that we'd like to.
Oh, we could run all sorts of operations that we'd want to run and thrive tremendously.
The future.
We could go from illicit operations to above board. We could be like Michael Corleone.
Yeah. And
selling international immobiliari.
The problem with the future is,
who knows?
And who knows?
Feels like we're trending in the wrong direction.
Totally.
Where we're going,
there
are no roads.
By the way, they have told you, for as long as humans have contemplated technology and artificial intelligence, every science fiction book, movie has always featured some doom scenario in which artificial intelligence outpaces our human intelligence and then they kill us. And that's going to happen.
And yet these idiots in Massachusetts keep making these dogs and humans running around doing things.
We're on the road, though. But
what are we doing?
Even these chatbot AIs are recruiting other AI. Like it's already
stop.
Yeah, they're going to overtake the controls, launch nuclear weapons, and kill all the humans.
Stop it!
I'm telling you.
Stop.
I don't know about 100 years from now. I don't know.
I'm not either.
I don't know about the veracity of 100 years from now. I don't know if it's going to be there. I just don't. So I guess I would go back to the 1920s.
Do you imagine us like a little like Nucky Thompson?
Yeah, like
running some
Elliot
operations. Yeah. We could run OF tomorrow.
And
thrive. Thrive. It's interesting. You said you went Elliot Ness, and I went for the corrupt the corrupt politician.
Yeah.
You want to go chase?
Well, we'd be a good.
We'd work together. Yeah.
We'd have it all covered.
Yeah.
I don't want to go chase anybody. I want to just live
you want to
thrive.
Yeah, you want to just.
I want to be Al Swearingen, but in
best time, a little bit better
conditions.
Better. Well, no, I wouldn't care about being a better guy. Just a little bit better. I mean, he's living above a bar and he's got a peapot and stuff. Like that's a little.
No.
It's dicey. A little more amenity. The Gilded Age.
Gilded Age. We're upper crust.
You're having the time of your life.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Nobody's getting hurt. Yeah. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet. I think so. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. How many good days? We're done on Monday, then it's all bad? Or we get a weekend, though, right? Weekend's nice?
I don't know that you're going to get through. Let's take a look.
I think by midweek next week, you're back into the 60s.
I did get
with
I'm getting an air quality alert. Are you guys getting dinged by that?
Yeah.
I can feel my eyes burning.
Yep.
All
right, so here's...
the weekend's great.
Yeah, till
82,
Sunday.
79, 76.
Yeah, but Sunday's 95% rain.
But is it an all day? Is it an all day?
No, it's not till afternoon.
Okay,
Monday and
nice
Tuesday
morning.
are
Oh, my God. Monday and Tuesday are
rain.
straight crumb.
And then you're decent on Thursday. You have 67, but then by Friday...
Oh, my gosh. You're back to
rain
but
Friday,
that's like
Saturday.
8 days, 10 days out. That's a
telling-
long
There's
way
a lot
away.
of 60% higher rain probabilities in the forecast.
Well, you knew that was coming. I was telling a buddy, he's like ready to declare summer. I'm like, buddy, I promise you, there's going to be a day where we're going to be standing in some absurd location watching lacrosse. Women are going to be in Mombies, and it's going to be raining sideways, freezing. That's still coming. Like, we're not done with it by any stretch.
No, you never know when something's going to blow through that is unpleasant.
I'm going to give you guys a gift. I'm going to
D+.
I'm going to give you guys a gift. Yeah. Give you guys a little gift. Tonight, Bootsy will come home from school.
Okay.
And his singular focus will be to be the first person to swim.
Yep.
And I will video it.
Good.
I'm going to video it from the second he walks in the door.
Is he going to sprint to his? In my mind, I feel like it's not beyond Bootsy to just run straight to the pool, clothes being thrown, and he just dives in as he was born.
I think you know him as well as if he was your own. I think that he is in boxers.
You don't think he's going to get a suit? You think he's going?
No suit.
Yeah.
No.
I think that your
He's
wife should film it, and you should get to the edge and go, "Hey, Boots, wait 1 second," and then you jump in first and
Just
be
to stick
like,
it
"I'm
to
the
him.
first one in for the year."
Just to stick it to him.
Just to crush his
What
soul
I'm
for a day.
excited for, though, the part of the video that I'm also excited for is when he's had his swim, he's thriving. All
1 minute,
that,
guys. 1 minute.
But then he's going to pop his head up at some point and demand his robe.
Oh, the robe is.
And a
I
snack.
need my robe.
And a snack.
You go get it.
I'm going to need a robe.
I'm going to need my robe here.
Yeah. Can I get some snacks?
Snacks and a
snack.
robe.
Snacks and a robe.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how,
it
that's
will
how
be
we're
a
gonna do it.
sprint. Let's see if we got it. We were 54 degrees temp yesterday when I turned the heaters on. Let's see where we're at now.
Do any of the other siblings
Oh, it's only 84. Temp is only 84.
in a pool?
I mean, I heat to 90.
30.
What?
30.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a bath.
That's a conversation
No,
for
you
another
got
time.
That way you use it even when it's chilly.
84 is
84
warm.
is good.
No,
84
90.
is way good.
Keep that baby up.
On a hot day, you wanted it.
No, I
80
drop it
max.
down I turn it off in the summer, and then it's 88,
Okay.
86, whatever. But like right now,
84 is
90.
a little crazy.
90 to go. You've never lived, I'm telling you. Well, we'll have Transformative Turkey. The next level is coming up next. You have a good Friday. I know that you will.
Thank you. You too.
I'll be back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.